All right, today I want to take you on a little journey through what I think are the greatest FPS shooters ever made. And listen, this isn't just a list. These are games that shaped the genre, shaped me as a gamer, and honestly left impact way beyond just shooting bad guys. Each one of them had something special, a moment, a mission, a mechanic, a vibe that made it unforgettable. And I want to break down not just why they're good, but also the parts of each game that made them legendary. Let me start with Metro, because Metro hits differently than almost any shooter out there. Metro isn't divided into standard FPS chapters, it's divided into emotional phases. First, you get the slow, oppressive tunnels where every lamp flicker makes your heart jump. Then you get these big surface moments, like stepping into the frozen ruins of Moscow for the first time. Those outdoor segments feel like a different game. Harsh wind, radiation, gas mask cracks, constant pressure. Then the game shifts again into more supernatural parts with visions, hallucinations, dark ones. These segments feel almost like a psychological thriller. And the final phase always hits you with moral choices, humanity, survival. Metro is split between horror, exploration, story, and pure desperation. It's a shooter where every chapter has its own personality and leaves a different feeling. And that variety, mixed with raw atmosphere, is why it sticks with me even years later. Borderlands, though. Borderlands is basically gaming candy. The series is divided into hubs, wild wastelands, arenas, dungeons, boss locations, and tons of side missions. You start in small zones with bandits and skags. Then you move into giant deserts, frozen zones, futuristic cities like Opportunity, creepy areas like Caustic Caverns, and of course, the vaults themselves. Then you have raid bosses, DLC zones, and insane endgame missions. Every zone is full of jokes, chaos, nonsense, and loot literally exploding everywhere. Missions are either meaningful or absolutely stupid in the best way possible, like helping a robot find a girlfriend made of metal chunks. The game doesn't care about realism, it cares about fun. And every part of the game is designed to deliver exactly that.
Titanfall, man. Titanfall is split into two core experiences, being a pilot and being a Titan. And each one feels like a completely separate game. As a pilot, you get these fast, parkour-heavy missions, wall running across buildings, chaining slides, double jumps, and taking down enemies before they even react. Then the tone shifts when you call down a Titan. The ground shakes, the metal slams, and suddenly the game becomes this mech power fantasy. Titanfall 2's campaign is also made up of completely unique levels. One level is all about shifting time periods, another is about controlling platforms in a factory, another is a titanic mech battle on the back of a massive creature. Every part of the game feels handcrafted to shock or impress you. There's no filler. Every mission feels like a highlight. And that's rare. Doom is basically divided into phases of pure aggression. You start in the UAC facility, tight corridors, demons crawling everywhere. Then you move into Hell, which feels like a heavy metal album cover brought to life. After that, you bounce between demonic hybrid maps and futuristic labs. Each zone is basically an arena disguised as a level. Doom thrives on combat loops. Enter area, music kicks in, you rip and tear. You grab ammo from chainsaws, health from glory kills, armor from flamethrowers, and when the last demon dies, the game lets you breathe for like 5 seconds. Then you enter the next arena, and it starts again. It's almost like Doom is divided into fight rooms and calm rooms, and that rhythm is what makes it so addictive. Battlefield doesn't have chapters. It has battlefields. Each map is essentially a zone, with its own micro-stories and memorable hotspots. You have urban areas like Sen Crossing, where every corner is chaos, massive desert maps with tanks rolling over dunes, snowy maps with tight choke points, and of course, naval battles, where jets and boats create full-on war movies. In campaigns, they usually split things into war stories. each one letting you experience a different theme, a different character, a different environment. One mission you're sneaking through mud, the next you're flying a plane, the next you're riding a tank. Multiplayer maps also feel like real military locations with layers: rooftops, interiors, fields, forests, mountains. It's a shooter divided into war experiences more than missions. Far Cry is basically built around zones. Islands, outposts, jungles, mountains, enemy bases, villages, and all the crazy wildlife in between. Each game has sections controlled by different villains or mini-bosses, and each part of the map has its own activities. You liberate outposts, hunt animals, find treasures, climb radio towers, and attack bases however you want. Stealth, explosives, bow, vehicles. The campaigns are usually split between introduction areas, villain-dominated territories, resistance-building sections, and then huge final conflicts. Far Cry is at its best when its world is divided naturally, like Far Cry 3's Rook Island or Far Cry 4's Kirat. Each part feels like a jungle playground, ready to explode. Halo missions have structure. Every campaign has this mix of large outdoor battles, vehicle segments, tight indoor Forerunner complexes, flood infestation missions, and then massive climactic encounters. Halo always starts with an atmospheric intro, then ramps up into epic battles with the Covenant. Then things get darker and creepier with the Flood. Then the scale becomes insanely massive with huge sci-fi architecture. Multiplayer is divided into iconic maps: Blood Gulch, Lockout, Midship, Sand Trap. Each one feels like its own world. Halo's identity is built on these recognizable sections: vehicle chaos, alien tech, flood horror, and heroic final stands. Counter-Strike is different. It's divided into rounds. Each round is its own self-contained story: biphase, movement, holding angles, rotating, planting, clutching. Maps themselves are divided into iconic lanes: A-site, mid, B-site, long, banana, palace, apartments. And each of those micro areas has its own identity and strategies. Competitive games are basically emotional arcs: tension, victory, frustration, comeback, heartbreak. CS doesn't need chapters. The players create them every match. Call of Duty has always been structured like a blockbuster movie. The campaign is divided into set pieces: stealth missions, breaching sequences, chase scenes, sniping missions, tank or helicopter missions, emotional moments, betrayals, and huge finales. Multiplayer maps are usually designed around 3 lanes with distinct left, right, and middle sections. Then you've got Zombies mode, which is basically its own universe with maps split into starting rooms, open zones, hidden areas, Easter egg rooms, boss zones, and pack-a-punch locations. COD has many parts, and each mode has its own identity: campaign, multiplayer, zombies. And then finally, there's Half-Life. Half-Life levels are basically chapters with changing pacing. You start in Black Mesa with slow, atmospheric build-up. Then the game throws you into chaos: headcrabs, soldiers, alien creatures. The "we've got hostiles" section feels completely different from the blast pit tentacle monster section, which feels different from surface tension, which feels different from questionable ethics. Every chapter is almost its own genre. Half-Life 2 continues this structure, with Ravenholm being pure horror, Highway 17 being open-world vehicle exploration, Nova Prospect being tactical, and the Citadel being this incredible sci-fi power fantasy. Every part of the game feels distinct, and yet everything fits perfectly. When I look at all of these games together, it's crazy how each one uses structure differently. Metro uses atmosphere and survival phases. Borderlands uses zones filled with humor and loot. Titanfall uses movement and unique handcrafted missions. Doom uses combat arenas and pacing. Battlefield uses massive war zones.
Far Cry uses open-world territories. Halo uses theme changes between alien tech and horror. Counter-Strike uses rounds and choke points as its storytelling. Call of Duty uses blockbuster-style chapters and modes. And Half-Life uses environmental storytelling and chapter shifts to create a masterpiece. Each game isn't just good. It has identifiable sections, iconic parts that stick with you. The tunnels of Metro, the loot-filled arenas of Borderlands, the time shift level in Titanfall 2, the hell segments in Doom, the collapsing skyscrapers in Battlefield, the insane villain cutscenes in Far Cry, the ring world landscapes in Halo, the clutch rounds in CS, the nuke missions, stealth missions, and zombies waves in COD, and the unforgettable chapters of Half-Life. Put all of that together, and you're not just looking at shooters, you're looking at the DNA of the entire genre. The foundations that modern FPS games still follow, still try to replicate, still draw inspiration from. These games didn't just entertain us, they defined eras of gaming. So yeah, that's my full breakdown of what I think are the best FPS games ever made. Not just because they're fun, but because every one of them had something unique, some unforgettable part that left a permanent mark on players. Thanks for hanging out with me, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.